So the first thing you got to do whenever you're building something is you got to mock it up. You got to get templates, paper templates or cardboard templates or whatever. You got to get patterns for what you're doing before you cut out your material, whether it be metal, wood, expanded PVC, which in this case is what I'm going to be using for this center console. So first thing I did was I took some cardboard and cut out the shape that I wanted, that I was looking at, that would fit everything in here. Like I want to have 2 cup holders, the shifter, the computer or the little monitor for the ECM and the motor, and some power window switches, and then a little compartment back here, and be able to hide all the wiring and everything that gets in there. So this is the shape that we're going for. I think it's going to look pretty good, and it will follow and flow towards the back. And the back seat's got a center console that starts about right here and comes up. It goes back, up, and over the back of the seat, through the middle of the seat. So it's all starting to come together. The next step is to take this out and put it on a piece of the sheet that I'm going to cut it from. Now, one of the things that I'm looking at in here is, like, I know this is going to sit down inside here. So this is going to sit down inside here. Now, my glove box opens up and it touches right here. It touches this. So I have plenty of room below my cup holders. Therefore, I am going to trim this down a 1/2 inch to allow the glove box a little bit more room. It'll open up a little bit more. There's not a whole lot of room back there because of the vintage air conditioning unit, but I am still going to try and put a little box in there so you have a little compartment there and the glove box is usable. The ashtray, customer doesn't smoke, so we're just going to weld that up and get rid of the ashtray and make it seamless all the way across here. But this is going to work out good. And instead of trimming this, like, I know this is the height, the original height, so instead of trimming this, I'm just going to use some 1/4 inch tape and offset it, and then that'll be my cut line. So I'm going to get this out and get it over on the expanded PVC, and then we'll start tracing it out. One thing I forgot to mention before I pull it out of the car is going along the driveline tunnel, transmission tunnel. You want to follow the contour, but you also need a gap. You also need a gap for your carpet. This is the carpet stack up that we're getting in this car. Just got a sample. So this fits in here nice right there, but it will need trimmed back here and up there and on the other side. So, but I'm going to cut it out like this, and then I'll trim to fit as needed. Better to cut it big to start out with, and then trim it to fit instead of cutting it too small and having to start over. All right, so we're over here. I got it traced out. I laid this down and traced it along here with a long tip marker, making sure to stay vertical all along the edge. And then I took tape, 1/4 inch tape, and went around it to straighten up my my lines, because the cardboard is not exactly straight. With the tape, I can straighten them out. Now, we also said that I wanted to lower this a 1/2 inch. This part, just this part right here. So instead of taking calipers or a ruler and making notches, I'm just going to take the 1/4 inch tape and do 2 passes of this and lower it. So this is my cut line, the inside of the tape. So I'll do 2 more passes on the inside and make it flow into this curve down here. So I'll just start in. like this. Just follow it around. Because I don't want this curve to change. Like I want that to stay the same. Over here, I'll straighten it off and trim it as I need. So there's 1/4 inch down. I'm gonna do one more. There we go. That will be a 1/2 inch offset from down. So I'll come along here and cut along this line, and then we got to figure out this. So figure out this joggle right here. So come up. My razor blade, trim this line, trim that tape. There we go. I think that'll work. Now I could take a different color marker and follow this tape line, which is what I will do. And then I'm going to take the jigsaw and cut this out. I'm going to do that before I remove the tape, but I'm going to do a different color marker line just in case the tape comes off. There we go. Now I got my cut lines, so now I can cut it out. And then this is expanded PVC. It's an expanded PVC sheet, so it's plastic. I can router it. It's hard, so I can router the edges, and I'll be able to sand it and smooth it out and make all these curves nice. All right, there's our first piece cut out. You see it cuts super easy. My cuts are not exactly straight, so I will be sanding this and making it all even. But before I do that, I'm gonna get both pieces cut out. That way I can sand them together and make sure that they are completely even. I will screw them together to each other and then sand it by hand, making sure that it's all even and good to go. So I'm gonna get the other one traced out and then get it cut out, and then I'll be back. All right, I have both pieces cut out, and if you look around here, you can see, yeah, they're way off. My cuts are not even, they're not consistent. A jigsaw leaves a bevel, at least mine does. The blade goes in, and then the pressure just cuts at an angle. I don't know, maybe it's me using it, but it is a cheap jigsaw that I've had for 15, 18 years. So is what it is. So when I cut these out, I pre-planned for this. I planned on having to do this. So I have two straight edges, the bottoms and the fronts. Those are my edges where I didn't cut those. I didn't touch them. So I know that those have to be straight. So I have two fence blocks on the bottom on my fixture table to hold both pieces against those. So I know they'll be lined up this way. And then I have one fence block up front and pushing forward, making sure that they're lined up this way as well. Now I will screw them together and then start sanding it and making it even. The screws I'm going to use are these things right here. They got the head on them. It is going to go through. It's longer than the pieces, but these are the shortest ones that I have. So I'll screw them down most of the way, and then I'll pull it off the fixture table, screw them in the rest of the way, and then grind off the edges so I don't cut myself. But so I got it in place. I'm gonna put a couple clamps on it to hold it down to where it doesn't move. Not a whole lot of pressure, just a little bit of pressure on there. I just don't want it moving while I drill it. These fixture tables are awesome for lining stuff up and making sure everything's even and being able to clamp stuff down. So we will go. I'm going to go closer to the edge that needs sanded. The bottom and the front don't need no sanding at all. It's just along this and the back. So I'm going to start right here. All right, that should keep it in place. Now I can unclamp it, screw those the rest of the way down through, and then I'm going to add a couple more screws along the edge that I'm going to sand on to make sure that they're good. Nice and tight together. All right, there we go. Now, the reason I'm going to add a couple more screws is because you can see that like it's moving right there. I don't want this thing to move, so I'm going to add a couple more screws here, probably a screw right here, and then another one up in here. And maybe I'll do a couple on the bottom just for good measure. But you can see the front perfectly even, nice and flush, perfect. That's how the whole thing needs to be. And then same thing on the bottom, nice and even. So I'm going to get some more screws, screw this together, and then I can start sanding it down and evening it out and making it making these edges identical from this point back. This point forward, they're different under the dash because I got the AC unit, the air conditioning unit on the passenger side. So this is the passenger side over here, so it's a little bit different. So they're forward, not worried about, I'll just smooth it out, make it even, make them nice. But from their back, it's got to be even. So, all right. So I sanded by hand all the edges along the top, all along this, and made both pieces perfectly flush with each other, and they're completely even from here all the way up the back and all the way along, all the way up to the front to this point right here where it changes for under the dash. So the passenger side had to be lower to go underneath the vintage air unit. So the next step is to take it apart, put some wood blocks, put these wood blocks from the cardboard template into it, and start putting it together, getting that set up, and then I can start working on the upper piece, the center piece that goes in between them. So I'm going to get this all taken apart, get this one taken apart, and get the wood blocks put in. All right, there it is, put back together. And you'll notice, like, this one's got more of an angle than this one. for right now, that's okay. The main one of the reasons why I like this stuff is I can take a heat gun, heat this up, and mold it and bend it. And if you do it slowly, you can just mold it and make it fit. That's how this top cover is going to be done. I'm going to heat it up, cut it out, heat it up, and then mold it into place. But right now, I got to get the heat gun because this needs to be, it needs to be straight and it needs to come out. So I'm going to go get the heat gun and start molding this thing. All right, so I've moved over to my fixture table to hold it down. Do you need a fixture table to do this? Absolutely not. But I have it, so I'm going to use it because it makes things easier for me and it goes quicker. But I added another wood block in here to separate this. Keep this even right in here. And then I'm using these clamps to mold it and squeeze it where I need it, where I want it to be squeezed together, where I want my curves to go. And I'm using the heat gun, just heating it up and squeezing it and then letting it cool, and hopefully it'll take shape. So yeah, heat gun, just gradually heat it up slowly and evenly, both sides, where you want the bends at. Like I said, this is 1/2 inch thick, so it's a little bit harder than the stuff I used before. The stuff I used on my Chevelle, I think, was 3/8 thick, so it bent and moved a lot easier than this stuff. This is a slow process. You gotta slowly move it around. You gotta slowly heat it up. Because you don't want to heat up one spot so much that you melt it. Because it is plastic. But if you look down it, it's got a nice curve in and then straight back. Like it looks good. It flows good. That's what I'm looking for. That's the look I'm looking for. It goes in like that and then straight comes out and curves. I don't want it going like this. I want it to come out and then straight again. So that's the look that we are going for. The tricky part is getting it to stay that way without the clamps. So I'm going to let this cool down, do it a couple more times, or I'm going to do it and I'm going to heat it up and let it cool until it stays. So could be a long process, will be a long process. Could take quite a few times to get it to fit or get it to stay the way I want it, but it is what it is. So on the center console, right, I've got everything. I got the sides all done up, trimmed up, screwed together, fits in the car, right? Then I took a paper pattern. I took a cardboard template of half of this side, transfer it onto another piece of material here, transfer it onto this chunk, flipped it over, drew it out, cut it out, and now we're caught up. So now I gotta make it bend to follow the contour of the console, right? It's gonna start right here, come down, needs to curve, and then curve up, and then here will be a pocket and then a door for a compartment. Now, trying to heat this up 1/2 inch thick to bend like this is not going to work. So I am taking a skill saw I set my blade depth to go about that far down, leaving about, I don't know, a little over an 1/8 inch to 3/16 thick there. And then I can heat it up and bend it and get a nice bend out of it. So I set it up. I had it set up there. I made all my marks, took measurements, made my lines, and now I'm going to cut this out and try and bend it and shape it into place. I've never done this before. I've seen it done on TV. My brother mentioned it yesterday too, so I gave it a shot this morning, and it's going to work. So it's going to make a huge mess, but it is what it is. I got some new goggles to keep the crap out of my eyes. So yeah, let's get started. That'll work. All right, they're not the straightest cuts. I got a little off, a couple of them, but I think it'll work. So I'm going to clean this mess. Actually, I'm going to try and do it, because if I have to do it again, I don't want to clean the mess up twice. Now, I did cut this big, so it's not going to fit down inside. Like, it's going to go when it's all said and done, this is going to be inside of this. I cut it big, and I'm going to trim it down. After I get it all formed, then I'll trim it down to fit inside there. I might have to go another cut. Looking at this, I might have to put another cut in it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Just gonna put another cut in it right now. So these front two are good. Like that's going to work there. But this one is not. So I'm gonna have to make another cut and make this those cuts are a little close together. So I'm gonna have to make a couple more to try and move that way. So trial and error. There we go. There we go. I think that'll work. So I'm going to clamp it, mark the insides, trim it off. Once I get this set down inside there, then I can mark wherever I want to trim it off up here. And go from there. Because I don't think I want to roll this over and go that way. Maybe I will a little bit. I don't know. Guess we'll have to stay tuned to find out. Alright, so I got the centerpiece traced and cut out and screwed into place. I ended up breaking this section off so I can move this back to get the profile. I don't think it's going to be an issue. If it is an issue, I can file that down and cut a piece and glue a piece in there. I don't think it's going to be an issue. Next step is to start. I already started sanding. I got this rounded over to match. Now I need to sand all of this and make sure that it's all completely level all the way down and around it. But yeah, so I think it's turned out pretty good. After I get it sanded and smoothed out, the next step will be putting it in the car, cutting the hole for the shifter, and I got to put the cup holders in here. I got to cut the holes for the cup holders, so I'll do that. Mount the shifter, and then build the compartment and the lid. And I got to build a back piece for this with a notch for the driveline tunnel. But it's coming together pretty good. Once I get this set in the car and get the shifter cut, and the cup holders, I can figure out where I'm going to put the switches for the power windows, figure out where I'm going to put the switch for the exhaust cutouts, and if I'm going to mount the Holley screen that monitors the motor and all that stuff. See if I'm going to put that in there or not. I don't know if it's going to fit where I was thinking, so I don't know. We'll see when I get it in. But yeah, I'm going to pause for now, get it into the car, and then we'll come back when I get to that point. So it's been a little while since I've worked on the center console. I've been working on the trunk of the car. So, but we're starting to make some more progress on this thing. I think the last time I sanded it down and got these pretty much flush all the way around. I got to do a little bit more sanding here, but I just took a measurement and cut the hole out for the shifter. I put it back in the car, and as you can see, my hole was off a little bit. So round two, trying this again, and hopefully this will be the right area for it. If not, I will redo this piece. I'll cut this off right here, take this out, and make a new one, and as it needs it. I also took measurements and put in the cup holders, and I think they look really good. So now I'm about to go put it in the car and test it and see what it looks like, and then we can figure out where we're going to put some other stuff. So hold on 1 minute. Okay, so to fit up in here, it is really tight under the. It's fit up in here. It is really tight under the dash, so I'm probably gonna trim that a little bit more to make it a little bit more moving easier to get in there, and so it doesn't scratch the paint once this thing's painted. This is going to be covered with material, obviously, but for the most part, it fits pretty good, except for the shifter. Shifter, there's all the way back, but it hits going forward. So I will take a sander and sand this out and make it bigger. I don't think I need to replace it. Just make this bigger. It goes side to side fine. It's just forward and backwards. Yep. Going into sixth gear is a little tight. And reverse. So I'll make this bigger and then it should be good. Next thing we got to figure out is where we're going to put switch for the cutouts. I don't like this switch. I'd rather have a push button, but this is what we got right now. Maybe I'll look for a push button switch with 4 wires and wire that up and see. The other thing I'm curious about, if I want to put in here, is the monitor for the motor for the EFI. I don't know if I want to put that in here or not. And it would go right there just fine. Oh, and I also got to put in power window switches. Got to put power window switches in, so I got to figure out where those are going to go. Maybe we'll put the power window switches right here. Like, put them right here. So when he's sitting here, he's got his arm on the armrest. This is acting like armrest. And just do it right here. I think that'd be pretty cool. And there's plenty of room for it. Yeah, this is gonna work out. This center console is gonna work out pretty nice. So yeah. I think first things first, let's get this I'm gonna sand this hole for the shifter and get that situated and knock that thing out, get that taken care of, and then we can focus on the next thing. Alright, so what I did was I wrapped this piece around the dash, and that is really making it a pain in the ass, is catching on this and not wanting to come out. So I'm just going to cut this off, make it flush like the other one. Doesn't really need to be there. Like, only reason I did it was like to bring it up into the dash and hide it more, but like, who's going to be getting down that low to the ground and looking under there to see? Pretty much pointless. So I'm going to cut that off and use these drum discs, and make the hole bigger for the shifter. And then I'll be back when I'm putting it back in the car. Alright, I've taken this thing in and out of the car a few times, each time making this hole bigger. I'm pretty sure like it's going to fit right now. I haven't checked it again, but I keep hitting gears 1, 2, reverse, and 6th. So I'm hoping that I have enough room now. I don't want to overdo it, so I'm going a little bit and checking it, a little bit and checking it. I don't want the hole to be so large that, you know, it can't be covered up easily. So I want just enough room to make sure I get all my gears and the shifter doesn't hit it. So I haven't put it back in after I did this one, but I'm pretty sure, because the last time it was really close, need just a little bit more. I think I got it this time, but we'll check in a minute. But first, I marked out for where my power steering switches are going to go. Here's the switches. They're going to go right here like this. And then the exhaust cutout switch is going to go right here. I'm going to order a round push button style and just push it in right here. Now, the theory is, like, this was the cover that came with the TMI interior kit center console that will not fit the car because of the floor. So I took the lid off. It's too short, but the theory is, like, I'm just using this like as a guide for armrest and figuring out where I want to put my placement for my switches. So I think this is probably a pretty good spot right here. I don't want it too low and I don't want it too high, so I think this is probably pretty good right here. So I'm going to get a drill each one of the 4 corners, and then cut it out with a jigsaw and file it down to where the switches will fit in there. And then that'll be done. And then I can wire up the power windows. This stuff cuts really easy, drills really easy, sands really easy. It's a good thing because I'm not very good with a jigsaw. Well, you get the point. I gotta file it down until this fits in there, and you want it fitting snug. You don't want it fitting in there loosey-goosey, because when you put the wires on here, it'll push out. So you gotta have it snug to where it'll clip in there and the wires will connect to it and won't push it out. So I'm gonna get this done, and then I'll come back when it's sitting in the car. All right, well, I think I'm gonna wrap this video up. I got it sitting in there. As you can see, my cup holder, this is typically, you won't have something like this in here, but it works. The glove box still will come down. It's reaching distance from the driver. Power window switches, perfect position. Shifter's moving. I can go all the way into reverse, all the way into first, but second still hits and 6 still hits. But you can see it's barely hitting at all. So I will, obviously this isn't finished. I will trim that out a little bit more. And then I need to put a back plate on it. Back here, put a back plate on it, a lid, and a little compartment to go in here. The compartment that came with the TMI one is too big. This little compartment that came with the TMI kit is too deep. It hits the ECM. So this needs to be about an inch shallower. So I'm not gonna cut this and then glue it. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna find one that's narrower or shallower and then use it. But like this is the correct width and everything. It could be a little bit longer. So correct width. I need one longer and shallower. But yeah, then that'll fit in there. Have a little compartment. Decided that the monitor, the programmer monitor thing, is just going to go into the compartment. I'm not going to put it into the console. I think it will look better, it'll look cleaner without that in there. Yeah, I like the way it turned out. I think it flows, it follows the car, it follows the contour of the driveline tunnel. I will put vents in there for the heating and AC. I was gonna put them in the dash, but I think it'd be kind of cool if I put like a little vent right down here, because the hoses for the AC come down. They can come right behind here and come. I can put one right here and one on the other side. And then I have vents on the floor. So I think that's going to be a wrap for this video. Yeah, it's not finished, but I haven't gotten a video out in a long time, and I need to get one out. So that's how I build my center consoles. This is the second one I've done in this stuff. I've done them out of metal. I've done them out of wood, and this stuff, I like this stuff the best. It's expanded PVC. It cuts easy, sands easy, and makes things a lot easier for me to use this stuff. It's a lot lighter than wood. It's a lot easier than metal because metal warps as you weld it. So, but you know, there's much more skilled fabricators that build them out of metal. So, you know, over to you. Whatever you like best, whatever works for you best. So, that being said, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, notifications button, and I'll catch you on the next one.